Welcome again to Take 5 with Father Tom. We continue our journey through our Lenten readings, focusing on the responsorial psalm that we proclaim between the first and second readings at Mass. So in our Gospel this weekend, we'll hear of the woman caught in adultery. She is brought by the scribes and Pharisees before Jesus in the midst of a crowd. They ask him if she should be stoned, and he responds with that amazing response: let the one among you who is without sin cast the first stone. And then, of course, one by one they go away, recognizing their own sinfulness. Jesus is left alone with the woman. He says, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." This woman who had lost her freedom, was publicly humiliated, Jesus gives her a new freedom, a new life. And that's the theme of the responsorial psalm. It's Psalm 126. And the refrain that we'll proclaim at Mass from the psalm is, "The Lord has done great things for us. We are filled with joy." So we'll hear in the first stanza, "When the Lord brought back the captives of Zion, we were like men dreaming. We were filled with laughter, with rejoicing." That's a reference to the time when the Babylonians captured Jerusalem, carried off many of the inhabitants of the city to Babylon. They call it the Babylonian captivity. Then later they were released, allowed to come back to Jerusalem. It was a kind of a freedom, a liberation. So they're giving thanks to God who gives them that freedom. And yet a couple stanzas later, then we hear, "Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like the torrents in the southern desert. Those that sow in tears shall reap rejoicing." Although they've come back to Jerusalem, they're not completely free. They're still controlled by foreign powers, so they don't have their full freedom. They're looking forward to the day when they'll reap in joy, when they'll enjoy that freedom. And again, in the very last stanza that we'll hear, "Although they go forth weeping, they shall come back rejoicing," trusting that God will one day provide them with that freedom, that true freedom. And that, of course, is what we hear in the gospel. Psalm 126 is what we call a psalm of ascent. It's a psalm that would have been proclaimed by pilgrims on their way in pilgrimage to Jerusalem. I'm standing here in front of our Union Street church. We too make a pilgrimage when we come here, when we come to church to encounter the Lord in the Mass. In the Mass, we celebrate his death and resurrection, his rising to new life and giving us new life, giving us new freedom. That's what he did with the woman caught in adultery. He gave her a new freedom, a new life. And that's what we encounter here at the Mass. We also encounter that in the sacrament of reconciliation, the great sacrament where the Lord forgives us our sins and restores us to life, just as he did with this woman in the gospel story. So as we approach church this weekend, wherever you've been in life, whatever we may have done in our past, God always gives us through Christ a new beginning, a new way to start again. And so even if you've been away from Mass for a while, it's an opportunity to come to encounter the Lord and to raise up our voices in praise for the great gift of new life that he gives to us. So a question for all of us to take on this at this point in Lent, as we reflect on these readings, is: what part of my life do I need to bring to the Lord to receive joy? God bless you.